Joining me right now is Tennessee Senator, member of the Judiciary and Armed Services Committees, Marsha Blackburn. Senator, it's good to see you this morning. Thanks so much for joining me.
Absolutely.
So we're talking about this White House summit. You're urging big tech to protect young children. What do you want to see out of big technology?
What I would like to see out of big tech is some responsibility and accountability. And Maria, they go in and subjectively manipulate their algorithms, and then it opens doors that it ought not to children, like the Snapchat letter that I sent this week deals with the way pornography is made public on their site, and this is made available. The ratings are wrong on these apps. Children are seeing this. They need to adjust those ratings, and also parents need to be aware. You need to give parents the tools to block this. These videos that are deleted, this becomes a child predator's dream for contacting these children, and there are several cases where pedophiles have used Snapchat to contact and to coerce these children.
Wow, that's unbelievable. You know,
it is unbelievable.
It feels like this is one issue. Big tech hits at both corners and both sides of the aisle. You've got people like Elizabeth Warren and Ted Cruz both saying that they want to break these companies up. Do you want to see breakups of some of these large companies that are today, as you know, more powerful than we've ever known?
Well, I think where we start is with the privacy issue. And yesterday, Chris Hughes, who was the co-founder of Facebook, was in my office, and we had a very productive discussion about how you deal with privacy and giving consumers the toolbox to protect, as I term it, their virtual you, themselves online. So you start with privacy and data security. You look at how the social media giants are prioritizing their content over content that it should be readily available online. And I'm going to have a meeting later today with the CEO of Yelp concerning this issue, because they're conducting Google prioritizes their content.
Yeah.
So that determines what people see, what they have access to. We're also going to look at censorship and antitrust and say, do these companies need to reposition themselves? But I think first, you look at the privacy issue and you determine how that forces the media companies to adjust their business model. Right now, they've built their business model on a no holds barred. They do not have to inform you that they are taking your data, that they are mining your data, that they are positioning your data to be sold to the highest bidder, who is going to market back to you or is going to go through and sift your data and then determine what they want to push forward to you in the method of videos or articles. It's like with YouTube. Yeah. You look at one video, then they fill a stream with similar videos.
Real quick, because I want to move on to the border, but let me end this here on this, because when I spoke with the president a couple of weeks ago, he said, look, we might need legislation which will spur competition. Do you want to see regulation for these companies?
The Browser Act is legislation that deals with the privacy issue that I introduced in the House. I have reintroduced that in the Senate, and we are working to move that forward to get those guardrails in place. And to do that first, light touch, but to put those parameters in place.
Understood. All right, let me move to the crisis at the border, Senator, because Immigration and Customs Enforcement agents are reportedly preparing to conduct raids beginning Sunday to arrest thousands of illegal immigrants across the country. The move coming weeks after President Trump said that the operation was first being delayed. You're headed to the southern border with Vice President Mike Pence tomorrow. What are you expecting? And do you think we're ever going to get our arms around these loopholes that are encouraging so many illegals, migrants, to flood the border?
The thing is, we have to get our hands around the loopholes, and we have to plug these loopholes, if you will, and make certain that those who are coming to our country come here legally. The Border Patrol, I was down there a couple of months ago, and they are in desperate need of some help. And my hope is that our Democrat colleagues will begin to work with us to give the Border Patrol the three things they continue to say they need. They have been saying this for 20 years. Give them a barrier, give them appropriate technology, give them more officers, agents, and judges to deal with this issue.
Yeah, but let's be honest. They don't want the president to have a victory. I mean, some people on the Democrat side hate him so much that they're just going to try to make a point and not do anything about this issue. Do you
Maria,
really see anything getting done?
Yeah, I've got to tell you, they need to get over their pettiness, and they need to put this nation and our sovereignty and the protection of the American people first.
I understand.
They need to stop this human trafficking, sex trafficking, drug trafficking that is taking place on our border. Every town's a border town. Every state's a border state because of the drugs and the human trafficking coming through. They need to get over themselves.
Yeah, because all these people
lost that election.
Right.
They need to work for the good of the American people.
All these people are coming to the border and facing these situations where before they even get to the border, they've got to deal with the drug lords. So there's that.
That's right.
And then, you know, they don't want to do anything there, but there's also an issue on trade. So let me ask you about USMCA.
Yes.
What is the likelihood that the bill comes to the floor for a vote in the fall?
The votes are there. If Pelosi were to put it on the floor today, it would pass.
So why isn't she?
I think that there again, you're looking at people that say, well, do we want to give Donald Trump a victory? Give the American people a victory. The unions are for this. The farmers are for this. Come on, guys, put it on the floor.
All right, so
and
you
call
don't
the
know.
vote.
You don't know is the answer if she's going to bring it to the floor by the fall. Is that what you're saying?
She should bring it to the floor next week.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, let me ask you about China. Trade Representative Robert Lighthizer is going to be meeting with members to discuss USMCA. I spoke with Vice President Mike Pence's Chief of Staff, Mark Short, on the program yesterday. And he is the one who said it's probably going to come to the floor in the fall. What's Plan B if she doesn't bring it to the floor? I mean, could that happen, that she actually doesn't bring it to the floor?
I think she will see what happened to the border funding bill week before last, where you will see the moderates in her caucus say, come on, Nancy, let's get with it. Let's get this job done. And when you have the unions and so many of the trade groups all saying USMCA, let's push it forward, she needs to say, she and Steny need to say, let's put it on the floor and call the vote. Let the chips fall where they may. Let Nancy and Steny declare victory by being able to move something forward. We need to get this thing done. When it comes to China, we're going to continue to encourage holding that line against Huawei. China will steal our intellectual property. They will embed chips and build Huawei as a spy network in that equipment and consumer products. We need to make certain that we deal with that issue and not give them an inch. We know what they're up to.
Well, you certainly have been keeping, and the president has been keeping his boot on the neck of the Chinese on this issue for sure. Senator, it's good to see you as always. Thanks so much.
Good to see you. Thanks.